Hello beautiful people! I have with me the two eyeshadow palettes from McGrath's, which is the Nude Allure as well as the Bronze Bliss. So for today's video, I'll be doing two looks with each eyeshadow palette. A more casual, lighter day wear look as well as a deepen up look suitable for night wear. And I'll go through step by step as to how I apply this makeup and the best way for application, especially if you're a beginner and if you're newer to eye makeup. I'll share with you how I find it easier to apply McGrath's eyeshadows with these eyeshadow palettes. The look I have now is the deepen up look, and this is the second look. After showing you how I got this looks, I'll come back and share with you my thoughts on these palettes, which one I prefer, and if I feel that these are good buys, the positives and negatives of these palettes. And I'll share a little tip as to how I remember which palette is for which eyeshadow just by looking at the packaging. So stay tuned to the end and let's start with the video. For both of the eyeshadow palettes, there's only one matte and the rest are shimmers. So what I will do is I'll use the matte and then add on the different shimmers for the different looks. Mahogany Angel. For McGrath's eyeshadows, although it is pigmented, what I like about the mattes is that it's easy to build it up and blend out. So I'll start from the end and slowly bring it up. I'm using the NG Hot and Flashy A504 brush. Next, I'll use the A505 brush. It's a flat brush and this is good for applying shimmers. So I'll go ahead with this shade and it's called Coral Kiss. That's what I have in the brush. And when I put on a shimmer, to ensure less fallout, what I will usually do is I will just press it gently on my lid and swipe it on. I try to keep it more like a pat and gentle swipe so that the shadow will stick onto the lids better rather than fall under my eyes. And I don't usually use an eyeshadow base. Usually I maybe just use a concealer to even out the skin tone and a light dusting of translucent powder. And this is just a clean blending brush, the NG A503 blending brush. Blend the edges in so there's no clear harsh edges around it. And for the lower lash line, I just use a little bit of this as well. I tend to dab off my brush before I use it rather than tap it off when I do my lower eye makeup. Mercurial Rose, just here, just for my inner corner. And next, I'll look straight into the mirror. Because I have hooded lids, I will try to bring up the shade a little bit higher, and I have also puffy lids as well. So by bringing up the shade a little higher, it will help to bring down the puffiness. And to brighten up the look, I just add the lighter shade in the palette, which is this one here, the Mercurial Rose. I can use perhaps my fingertip as well, just a little bit. Just dab it just in the middle. And that will just help to give more light, bring more light to the eyes. Now to start with the other, this is the simple day look. For the Bronze Bliss, I'll start with the matte black NG A502 brush and just tap a little bit into Lunar Luxury, dab off some of it onto a towel, and I'll start here at the outermost corner where I want it to be the darkest, and I just add more and slowly blend it out. Next, I'll use Bronze Illusion. So this is how it looks on the brush. And then I'll start in the middle, slowly swiping it across. I'm using the smallest brush from the NG Hot and Flashy collection called the A504, and just dab a little bit into the Lunar Luxury, tap off the excess and start again on the outer corner. So I'll look down, so to apply to lower lash line, from the outside corner, moving in maybe to 1/3 of it, so to add more of the bronze illusion, just to blend the matte black with this one that I have on my lids. And I'll use the lighter shade for my inner corner to give some light, bring some light in as well. And I'll use the bronze illusion for the lower lash line, tapping off excess. Just start from here to move in slowly. Using the A503, a clean blending brush, and just to soften the edges, make it look more seamless. A504, using a bit more of the, a little bit more where I need a bit more depth to my eye. So these are the looks without any eyeliner yet and mascara. So shortly. Next I'm going to try on the lipstick from the Bridgerton collection, and this is a Satin Allure lipstick. Just have to show you the packaging and the lipstick itself. And I must say it's really very cute. When I got it in person, the ribbon is bigger than what it looked online, or when I watched the other YouTube videos. So this is how the color looks inside. I thought it might match with my makeup that I have, and the reason I got this was because there was a free gift with purchase. I got this Pat McGrath pout as well as a lip balm in the clear color, and I do like this balm. I find it very comfortable and soothing on the lips. Yes, it does feel very nice. Give a matte sheen to the lips. Nothing too shiny. Let me just dab off the excess. I'll try this on. This is called a Viewed Rose. So this is the finished look with a more natural, friendly day wear look. And this is a comparison of the shades. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deepen up the looks, add a few more shades on top of what I already have, and make it more appropriate for nighttime wear. I'll start again on the right side using the Nude Allure. I'll use the smallest blending brush from Angie's collection, and it's a A504. And I'll start again with the only matte shade and also the deepest shade called Mahogany Angel. Dab a little bit more pigment onto the brush, tap off the excess, and then start it again at the outer corner. Adding more of the shadow. And this time I'll add another shade. Perhaps I can try this one here called Plum Eclipse. The shade here. Okay, I'll start off using the flat brush again and use more of this shade here. Just to press it onto the brush so that it stays under the bristles instead of falling off too easily. Then I'll just press and glide it onto the lids. So I've covered up the first shade with Plum Eclipse. And after cleaning off the brush on the towel, so I'll use this one here called Naked Bronze with the same flat brush. There's a little bit of excess pigment at the end of the brush. So what I'll do is I'll just dab off the excess on the cloth, the tip of the bristles, and I'll just more like press gently and stroke it up. So this is how I get the pigment on my eye. Now to deepen up the lower lash line with the Mahogany Angel, A504, the smallest blender brush, into Mahogany Angel. Just a few dabs on the tip of it, and then dab it off again. And looking down, I find that when I look down, it does help in the application. So when I look straight, the shadow is just here. So if I want to brighten up the look again, add a little bit of the brighter shade, my finger, and then I'll just dab it right in the middle, center, just where my iris is. Press it down to blend the edges, and so you have a little bit of brightening effect. So I'll brighten up the inner corner as well, a little bit more, just a little bit here, just dab it. Sometimes when I'm not sure which color to use, I just put it against me and then I'll choose the color which I think would be suitable. And using the clean blending brush, the fluffy A503, and to blend just the edges of the shadow. And this. So this is a deepen up look. Now we'll go on to the other side with the Bronze Bliss. Again, I'm starting with the deepest matte shade. It's a deep dark shade. Always start with less and slowly build up. And again, place the brush down exactly where you want the deepest shade to be, the deepest tone, and from there you blend it inwards. And try to look straight in the mirror and see how high to bring it up. The goal of the eyeshadow is to be able to see the shadow with our eyes open and looking straight. We look straight and then we just bring it a little bit above so that when our eyes are looking straight and relaxed, we can see some shadow. And to use this shade now, Bronze Minx, with the flat brush, and then pick up, just dab a bit more, and then make sure it's on the brush properly. Place it down and spread it gently. And then looking straight to see how high to bring it up. I'll use the bronze illusion on the inner 1/3 of my eye. A503 to blend it out. Just the edges. And to brighten up the inner corner with Nude Moon, make sure I don't have too much on the brush. Just gently tap off a bit of excess and just dab it in a little. To blend again, for the lower lash line, I shall use this shade instead. And just to trace gently down below the lower lash line. Let me just reapply my eyeliner and mascara and come back again. And I won't be using false lashes. I tend to prefer to use just mascara on my lashes. It's my preference because I don't really like to wear false lashes, and the application of the glue and the removal of it might pull out some of my sparse lashes. So just give me a moment and I'll come back shortly. So this is the Looks Deepen Up, to be used more for the night. Let's start with some of the swatches. So as I swatch it with my fingers, the textures does feel very nice and creamy. Even the matte. The shimmers are softer press compared to the matte. Real Rose, Mahogany Angel, Coral Kiss, and Plum Eclipse. The last shade here in the pan is the Naked Bronze. The Naked Bronze does feel a little bit drier compared to the other first three shimmers. A lighter, brighter color here in Mercurial Rose, an orange coral tone, and a pink fuchsia tone, as well as a mahogany color. So just by adding one of the shimmers with this matte shade, we can have a few different look variations. So this does give the palette versatility. And now we move on to swatch the Bronze Bliss. So I must say, when I opened this palette, I was more impressed with the sparkle from this palette compared to the Nude Allure. But when I saw it online, it was the Nude Allure that caught my attention. But in person, this definitely looks more eye-catching in the sense that the shimmers are even more sparkling. To start with the swatches, I realized I've been calling the black shade by the wrong name. It is called La Vie en Noir instead of Lunar Luxury, which I've been calling for my makeup tutorial. So, Nude Moon, La Vie en Noir, Lunar Luxury, Bronze Minx, and the last shade called Naked Bronze. Let me just move my arm this way. This is how it looks. I did try these out before filming today's video, so I do have a little bit of a better impression of how they last. As for the longevity of it, I did use the Nude Allure for the whole day. I'll insert the picture over here as to how it looked when I started. I applied the makeup at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I kept it on for the whole day until I got back in the night at about 9:30 in the night. So I must say, I was quite impressed with the longevity. I did use a concealer as a base, and I powdered my eyelids lightly before I started the application of the eyeshadow. And I was quite impressed with the lasting power of this eyeshadow. But then again, Pat McGrath's eyeshadow does last quite well for me into the day because of the pigmentation and the richness of the colours itself. So I'll insert the picture of how I looked at the start of the day, and that was at about 6 o'clock when I applied the eyeshadow, and at the end of the day when I came back, which was more than 12 hours later at about 9:30 in the night. And I did use concealer as a base on my eyelids and powdered it lightly before I started the application of the eyeshadow. So now we go on to the eyeshadow palette itself. What I like about the eyeshadow palettes are how travel friendly it is. It's so easy to pack into your travel bags. What I notice about the eyeshadow palettes is that it has both cool tones and warm tones, so it increases the versatility. Although there are only 5 shades in the palette, we can make quite a few looks itself just by adding the matte shade first and then putting our choice of shimmer on top. We can just add one more shimmer to make a complete look, or maybe another one to give a little bit more variety, and it makes it really versatile for an eyeshadow palette of only 5 colours. And I do like that they also have the deeper shade as well as the lighter brightening shade. So this makes it a complete palette by itself. This is a new formulation from Pat McGrath, and what I notice is that I don't really see any fallout under my eyes, because for Pat McGrath with her Bliss Astro shades in the Mothership palette, the formula for the earlier palettes, they are drier, so there tend to be more fallout. But for this one, so far I don't really see any fallout. So it's not a Bliss Astro shade, and I don't really see any glitter particles. It's more like a creamy metallic, and it does look quite flattering on more matured eyelids. It doesn't emphasize the texture, and it's quite smoothing as well. So there's no chunky glitter that you can see in it. In the pan we can see how bright the shine looks. Let me just add a little bit more of this one here, the Lunar Luxury, the brightest in this pan, just in the middle of my eyelid. And then we can see it amps it up even more. Let's just blend it in. It's really high shine. It's all ready to party. This is a party look. As to which one I prefer, I have to say I like them both. It's quite hard to choose. When I opened the palettes, this is the one, the Bronze Bliss, that caught my eye more. But when I applied it on my eye, I do like how both of them look, but for perhaps different occasions. Perhaps this is more for the day wear, and this is more for a smoky night look. And having these two palettes together will give even more variety to the looks. So it depends on your preference as to which one you prefer. Do you prefer a rosier, more romantic, feminine kind of look, or do you prefer a darker, smokier, vampy kind of look? For myself, I like both looks depending on the mood I'm in. As for the textures, they feel very nice as well. It's quite smooth. The mattes do blend out easily. The important thing with Pat McGrath or any pigmented eyeshadow is to start off with less and slowly build it up. So for the negatives, I don't really have any negatives that I can think of as of this point. So far, I do like these palettes a lot. And from the packaging, I like the size. I like how easy it is to travel with. I like the color combinations that it has, the both warm and cool tones, and the blendability. And basically, I don't see much fallout. Maybe there's like a little bit, I don't know, here, but hardly any fallout. Yeah. And I like the different kinds of looks that I can create with this, both warm and cool. And it's suitable for both day wear and to wear it for the night out as well. One of the ways that I differentiate between these two palettes, which is which, without looking at the names and by the color itself, is this peach one is a lighter shade. So this is more for the lighter, more feminine shade. This palette having a deeper pink packaging has deeper, smokier shades in it. So that's how I remember at a glance. And that's a little tip of how I differentiate my palettes without having to open it up or to look at the small prints without my reading glasses. And for the price point of 36 US dollars or 50 Singapore dollars, I feel that it's not too bad, but if we can get it on a sale, that would be better. But usually for Pat McGrath, when she just released an item, there will be a 10% discount. To get the 25% or even more to 30%, it will take at least a few sale cycles before these will go on sale. Or perhaps get it at the Sephora sale. I do feel that these eyeshadow palettes will make really nice gifts for someone who's into makeup and into the neutral looks and a lot of shine, and perhaps someone who's looking to start off with Pat McGrath's eyeshadow. This would be good to consider as well, because the shadows are quite easy to work with and you can start off with a lighter hand and slowly build up the intensity. As to my thoughts to which eyeshadow palette I would recommend, it depends. If you are new to makeup, I will recommend the Nude Allure. And the reason I say that is because of the shades in the palette itself. The shade range is of a softer wash of color and they blend easier into each other more seamlessly without needing so much blending on our part. And the matte shade here is easier to work with compared to the shade here, which is a deep black. So this one needs more time building up slowly, and it can darken up the look very quickly as well. For this palette itself, this shade here, the outstanding shade here, is really very bright, and shall I say it's the focal point of this palette. This shade here is also the most outstanding, so it needs more blending. So the darker shade for the Bronze Bliss and the extra shimmery silver shade here does take more work and effort in blending it in to make it more seamless. And of course the choice is yours as to which one you lean more towards and prefer personally. I appreciate you joining me for my videos. I look forward to hearing your comments, and it's nice to be able to get to know you better through your comments and by watching my videos and subscribing. If you feel that it's useful, to share it with your friends who you think might like the content that I have. Stay beautiful. Bye.